Diddy has said this. He said, when I give a party, I have to have an ambulance outside of the house. Paramedics ready. That people have to take IVs. Remember the time that him and his mama kissed each other on the lips? Do you remember that both of them was getting an IV at the same time? That's from the Diddy Freak Off party.
Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All you heard was Papa, don't hit me no more. Let's go. Kick in the door, waving the 4-4. Hey, hey, hey.
If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger, you know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. Why would Justin Bieber make a song about, what is it? I got smashed at a Diddy party? Or
Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard during the peak of the bad boy empire, is now making claims that challenge everything many people believed about the music industry, saying what the public saw was far from the truth. According to Gene, this is not gossip or rumor, but testimony from someone who spent years by Diddy's side, present during private moments when the doors were closed and the spotlight was off. He says he did not just hear about the chaos, but lived through it, witnessed it firsthand, and stayed silent for far too long. Gene alleges that Diddy was not simply mentoring young stars like Usher and Justin Bieber, but was instead exposing them to powerful industry figures in deeply troubling ways, suggesting they were used as tools in a system driven by control, influence, and favors. He describes an environment where parties that seemed innocent quickly became uncomfortable, where powerful adults crossed boundaries, and where young artists were praised publicly but treated like currency behind closed doors. According to Gene, this behavior was not rare or accidental, but part of a larger culture that was carefully hidden from the public, allowing Diddy to maintain his image as a respected mogul, mastermind, and hitmaker, while a darker reality unfolded out of sight. To the public, Justin Bieber was seen as the prodigy and Usher as the golden boy, while no one truly knew what was happening behind the scenes in luxury penthouses, private industry retreats, and camera-free private jets. But according to Gene Deal, he did know because he was there. After years of staying silent, possibly out of loyalty, fear, or the belief that no one would take him seriously, Gene now says he is done holding back and is openly sharing what he claims to have witnessed, naming names, drawing connections, and exposing what he describes as a deeply hidden system built on power, silence, and exploitation. He questions why anyone would dismiss his statements as wild accusations, arguing that a man who stood in the center of it all, with far more to lose than gain, would have little reason to speak out now unless he believed the truth needed to be told. Gene's allegations go beyond personal behavior and point toward a darker industry structure that protected powerful figures while keeping the public in the dark. He took things even further in a recent interview on the Art of Dialogue podcast, where he claimed that Diddy never went anywhere without recording equipment, including cameras and tape recorders, allegedly documenting everything while others believed they were simply partying. According to Gene, nothing around Diddy was ever truly private, and if his claims are accurate, there could be recordings that would make even the most powerful people in Hollywood deeply uncomfortable, as he insists that wherever Diddy went, the cameras were always rolling. Gene Deal says he spoke without hesitation, making it clear that what he described was not a one-time incident, but a repeated habit, claiming that Diddy routinely documented everything using recording devices in a way that went far beyond harmless memory keeping. According to Gene, these recordings may contain moments and interactions that were never meant to become public, and when considering who was present during those years, the list of names becomes long and unsettling. When asked whether certain celebrities should be concerned, Gene did not hold back and directly mentioned Ashton Kutcher, stating that Ashton would have reason to be alarmed if he had been involved in questionable situations with Diddy. He emphasized that Ashton was not just a casual acquaintance, recalling a specific time when he, Diddy, and Ashton attended a Mets game together and later met Jay-Z, describing their relationship as a genuine friendship rather than a passing connection. Gene said they spent significant time together, partied together, and were close, which now raises questions about what truly happened during those hangouts, and more importantly, what may have been recorded. He warned that Ashton was not the only celebrity potentially affected, suggesting that others should also be concerned. Gene went on to describe an elite inner circle, sometimes referred to as the Brat Pack, which he claims included Diddy and other powerful figures such as Leonardo DiCaprio, portraying it as a tight-knit group protected by fame, influence, and secrecy. He further questioned who else might be implicated if Diddy truly recorded everything, pointing to private gatherings, after-parties, and trips on private jets. Justin Bieber's name has frequently been connected to Diddy, particularly during Bieber's early years in the industry, and Gene's claims raise questions about whether Bieber may have been exposed to situations he did not fully understand. At this point, Gene's statements move beyond celebrity gossip, as he presents detailed context, names, and first-hand experiences from someone who says he had direct access to one of the most powerful and secretive figures in the industry. In light of Diddy's recent arrest on charges including racketeering and fraud, Gene Deal's long-standing claims are now being viewed with renewed seriousness, with many questioning whether his words were early warnings about secrets that may no longer be able to stay buried.
This story starts when I'm with Puff and he's in exotic bookstores and he's doing shopping, right? He's shopping, getting his stuff and everything like that. So, you know, this is the first time I was ever in an exotic bookstore with Puff. So, you know, I'm giving him his space. He's taking things off the shelves and stuff like that because they gave him a brown paper bag. When they gave him a brown paper bag, he was just putting stuff in there. So I said, damn, you know, he got to go put it on the counter and, you know, show everybody what he's getting. So as he's going, I'm just looking at the places where he's picking stuff from. So there's one part he picked up some things from up here on my left side. And then he picked like quite a few of them down. I'm like, okay. He put them in the bag. So when I went by there and I looked up there and it said butt plugs. And I was like, hey, yo. I was messing with him. Because people don't understand, you know, we was like friends. He was a part of the same gang. So I'm still gonna tease him. I'm still gonna mess with him and everything like that. I could do that. It wasn't just no security thing. So I said, yo, what are you getting this for? And it said butt plugs, and he was like, yo, can I do my shopping by myself? I said, yeah, you could do it by yourself, brother. And he started walking and everything like that. When he got I just waited at the counter. When he got to the counter, he didn't even have to show the guy nothing. He just gave the guy a wad of money. I mean, like, he gave the guy a stack, something like this. And Puff wasn't the dude that carried no 20s and no 50s and nothing like that. And I mean, like, he just said, boom. And we walked out the store. Later on that, I think that afternoon, same day, this rapper and him, they all in the room together. You know, it's Sarah, the girl, Puff, and this dude, this rapper. So I'm here at the door and stuff like that, like, yeah. So then next thing you know, somebody rang the doorbell. We had the presidential suite where we was at. So I opened the door and the dude said, yo, I'm here for my cousin. I said, who your cousin? He said, Ja Rule. I said, well, he busy right now. He said, he busy doing what? I said, he with Puff, they're in the room, they busy, they don't want to be bothered. He said, well, I'm going in there. I said, bruh, you ain't going in there because he told me they don't want nobody to be bothering them. He was like, yo, I don't care, man, I'm going in there. That boot like that. I said, yo, bruh, Jesus Christ had to come down here and take the air out of my body before you get in that room right there. Watch. He tried to bum rush me. I grabbed it and threw him against the piano. When I threw him into the piano, Puff and Ja Rule runs out the room. Puff got his towel, Ja grabbing his towel, but they butt the naked. And so then Ja was like, yo, what's going on? yo, Gene, that's my cousin. He know me well, you know, and Puff was like, yo, Gene, what happened? I said, he tried to get in the room. I told him he couldn't get in the room. He was like, Puff looked at Ja. He said, yo, Ja said, you ain't want to go in that room because there's a lot of freaking going on. So I was like, oh, he said it was a lot of freaking going on. So that was basically that story, man. You know what I'm saying? They went back in the room. Dude felt a certain kind of way.
Gene Deal says he is not shocked by the charges against Diddy and is instead frustrated that they took so long to surface, claiming that authorities and insiders were aware of troubling behavior for more than a decade and allowed it to continue under a system built on power, protection, and silence. In multiple interviews, Gene has questioned why nothing was done earlier, asking why action only came years later if warning signs and information were already circulating behind the scenes, and how many people may have been harmed while the industry chose to look the other way to protect a powerful image. His frustration is personal, as he says he witnessed disturbing behavior firsthand while standing next to the man now at the center of federal charges, and for years felt ignored when he spoke out. Now that law enforcement has stepped in, people are revisiting Gene's past statements and connecting details that were previously dismissed. Gene has also spoken about young artists who were closely associated with Diddy or his label, with Usher's name frequently coming up due to the well-known period when he lived with Diddy as a teenager, which was publicly framed as mentorship, but now raises serious questions in light of the allegations. Justin Bieber's early association with Diddy has also been re-examined, as footage and appearances show him being introduced to adult environments at a very young age, once viewed as industry exposure, but now seen differently given the broader context. Gene suggests that these young artists may have been placed in situations they did not fully understand, possibly under the guise of guidance and opportunity. He also shared a disturbing secondhand story he heard during that time, making clear it was not something he personally witnessed, recalling a comment about a young artist being sent to the hospital with serious injuries, a remark that has only deepened public concern. Taken together, Gene Deal's statements no longer sound like distant rumors to many observers, but instead resemble long-ignored warnings about an industry that allowed questionable behavior to persist unchecked for years.
What was said.
You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, Nick was bleeding from the butt. And that's what was said. But I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard it, and that's what happened. And that's just, that's something that you heard. You don't know if it's true, you just heard it. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, that's just something that I heard. It's something that I didn't know. It's something that I ain't see. A lot of people want to, because Gene Deal has spoken on certain things that I've heard, I have spoken on it. But then they were just trying to say, I know. No, I'm not scared to say what I heard. And if there's any truth to it, then it's truth to it. Let them find it. Things that I've saw or things that I've witnessed and been a part of, I've said it. I'm not afraid to say what I saw or what I didn't see. A lot of people want to make up shit. I don't make up things. When I say Puff go in the room with two girls, you understand, and another guy and a rapper, and then all of a sudden they cousin try to go in the room, I throw them up against the piano, they run out the room with grabbing towels and they naked. They still had two girls in the room. But people want to make up a lot of bullshit and say what they want to say and flip it the way they want to flip it.
Gene Deal has repeatedly emphasized that he does not claim to know everything or to have personally witnessed every alleged incident, making it clear that some of the most disturbing stories he has shared were things he heard directly in environments that already felt deeply troubling, and that those moments stayed with him, especially as more individuals began coming forward with accounts that followed similar patterns. He has defended himself against critics by stressing that he only speaks about what he personally observed or what was told to him firsthand, acknowledging uncertainty where it exists, but also explaining that certain stories were impossible to ignore, including one involving Usher that he says still haunts him, despite not being able to confirm its accuracy. What concerns Gene most, he says, is the consistency of the pattern he observed over time, involving young, vulnerable talent placed in isolated settings under the control of powerful figures, a setup he believes repeated itself from Usher's early years to Justin Bieber's rise in the industry. As renewed allegations and legal actions against Diddy have surfaced, Gene's long-standing warnings are being reevaluated by many who now see them as part of a much larger and more troubling picture. In addition to these claims, Gene has spoken publicly about what he describes as unsettling behavior in Diddy's relationship with his mother, Janice Combs, suggesting that the public image of affection may not reflect what he personally witnessed behind the scenes. In an interview on The Art of Dialogue, Gene speculated that Diddy displayed behavior he found inappropriate and psychologically concerning, recounting secondhand claims he says were shared with him by a former Bad Boy executive, including allegations of mistreatment that he found deeply disturbing, while also noting what he viewed as inconsistencies between public portrayals and private conduct. Gene further alleged that Janice may have played a more active role in Diddy's world than publicly known, including claims that she was involved in operations he describes as hidden and exploitative, though these assertions remain unproven and are presented as his perspective. He has expressed frustration that, in his view, those who could have intervened did not, allowing questionable behavior to continue unchecked. Gene also pointed to details from civil lawsuits and public records that he believes add context to his claims, arguing that even small observations now seem more significant. Finally, Gene questioned the long-standing relationship between Diddy and Justin Bieber, noting that Bieber was extremely young when he was brought into Diddy's inner circle, and recalling resurfaced footage in which Diddy spoke about spending time with the teenage artist in ways that, in hindsight, many now find uncomfortable, leading Gene and others to question whether what was publicly framed as mentorship may have involved circumstances a child could not fully understand.
Yeah, so as soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let you rock this every time you yeah, it's gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, look at the front shot.
Man.
Turn that out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15, you can ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
Alright,
No,
16.
No, ready.
16.
Slow down. Let's slow down, Justin.
Okay.
Let's slow down,
One
okay?
step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah. And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full buck food crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about.
Many people are now asking uncomfortable questions about what kind of grown man speaks to a teenage boy about women, wealth, and luxury in that way, and what kind of adult takes a child away for 48 hours out of public view to introduce him to what is described as the good life. According to critics and observers revisiting these moments, this was not an isolated interaction, as Diddy continued to appear regularly in Justin Bieber's life, inviting him to adult events, parties, and industry gatherings long before he was mature enough to navigate those environments. Photos and videos from that time show Justin surrounded by alcohol, adult behavior, and situations many now believe he had no business being in at such a young age. What was once dismissed as celebrity mentorship or industry exposure is now being re-examined through a far more serious lens, with growing concern over whether appropriate boundaries were ever in place and whether a vulnerable teenager was placed in environments that may have had lasting consequences.